everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 8th Arrow Whispering. And on this episode of 8th Arrow Whispering, we are going to be jumping in to the Super Wildcard Weekend. The season is officially over. It's bittersweet. This year went by quick, as they all do. They all tend to just fly by. I can't believe it. It came just as quickly as it went. But this was a fun year, man. This was a fun year. This was a special year. Not only did the Panthers end their 7-year drought of a playoff appearance, they also ended their 10-year drought of division champs. However they got there, that's okay. That's okay. Wasn't pretty, but we're here. And we'll get more into that a little later. And for me personally, this is the first year I went, I did the Triple Crown, man. Did the Triple Crown. I won all 3 of my fantasy football leagues, which I have not done yet. Well, until this point. This is the first time I've done that, so that was pretty exciting. I was pretty pumped about that, and yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, so I might do a video on that at another time, but for now, we're just going to make our picks for this wild card weekend that we have coming up. So we will go ahead and get started over here with the Patriots and the Chargers. I believe this game is in New England. Yeah, because they're a higher seed, so obviously it would be in New England. And I know they've been getting a lot of slack for having a soft schedule or an easy schedule or whatnot. But I still think they're a pretty good squad. Drake May is awesome, man. I think I was saying it earlier when I was doing my fantasy football mocks and everything. I thought he was going to have a pretty good year, and he did. I mean, I don't think he'll win MVP. I think Matthew Stafford will win that. But I do think Drake May is deserving of an MVP. And I think, unfortunately, the Patriots are going to be a team to be reckoned with for a long time to come. And Drake May's just getting started. I am a Drake May fan, so that doesn't bug me. I just wish he was on another team that's not the Patriots. But hey, that's okay. He makes them a little bit more likable. So, but I also like the Chargers. I like Justin Herbert. I like Jim Harbaugh. I like what they have going on. Omarion Hampton. I think he's going to be good. Unfortunately, he did get injured. He had the ankle injury that sidelined him for a good amount of the season. But I think if he can have a fully healthy year and next year, and they also their offensive line got really banged up, so they had a lot of issues, and kind of yeah. So they have a lot of banged up people going into the playoffs. So I'm giving this one to the Patriots. I think the Patriots will beat the Chargers. And I don't necessarily think it's going to be close. I think the Patriots will advance into the divisional round. And then we have Jaguars and Bills. Jaguars might be the most surprising team this year, in my opinion. And I think that's not I don't think I'm alone in that. I think that'd probably be a very surprising team for a lot of people. I don't think anyone expected them to do as well as they've done. And their offense has been cooking. Trevor Lawrence has been doing real good, and their defense has been putting up numbers. And then on the other side, you have the Buffalo Bills, who have had a down year in regard to just what they're accustomed to doing and what they're usually able to do, and I think that's reason for that is their offense. Josh Allen's still the man. He's still awesome. There's a case to be made for him being the MVP. But I just don't think they have the offensive weapons around him needed to get it done. So at least get it done for a Super Bowl. I do think they have the experience and the know-how to get it done in this wild card weekend. So I'm going to take them over the Jaguars. I won't be surprised if the Jaguars win. But I'm going to take Josh Allen. I think he is talented enough. I think James Cook is good enough to be able to just take their experience and get Josh Allen to put on his cape and just get the job done against the Jaguars. Now I'll be curious to see if the Jaguars, if this is like a one and done for them, sort of like the Washington Commanders of last year. I could easily see the Jaguars sort of being like that, where Washington Commanders were the Cinderella story of last year in the playoffs. And then this year just plagued with injuries, and it just seemed all like the clock struck midnight and it all faded for them. And I could easily see that being the Jaguars next year. But yeah, I could see the Jaguars beating the Bills and moving on. But we'll go ahead and we'll give the advantage to the Bills for week 1 of the wild card. Now moving on to the Texans and Steelers. Man, what a great way to end the regular season with that Steelers-Ravens game. I found myself going into it not really knowing who I was rooting for. I didn't really have a dog in the fight. But as the game progressed, I found myself pulling for the Steelers, and when Chris Boswell missed that first missed extra point of this season, and I think even like going back to last year, just wild. And then it coming down to the Ravens rookie kicker, Tyler Loop, and him shanking it, and yeah, just everything about that game, the back and forth in the fourth quarter. I mean, you didn't even have to watch the game up until, the fourth quarter, and that's where all the action was. So, yeah, what a fun game. And the Steelers did get the win in the end, and it cost John Harbaugh his job. Who's to say if the Ravens made the playoffs and they won a couple games, I think it could have helped keep John Harbaugh around. I still think if they didn't, I think it was Super Bowl or bust for them. If they didn't make the Super Bowl, I still think they would have moved on from John Harbaugh, regardless. And, the Steelers stick with Mike Tomlin. But at least as of right now, if they get knocked out this first round, they could move on. I don't think they will. I think they'll retain him. But yeah. So anyway, and then you have the Texans going up against the Steelers on Monday Night Football. That Texans defense is something else, man. This Texans defense is a Super Bowl caliber defense. Now the question is, can C.J. Stroud and company do enough to take them to the promised land? I don't know. But that Texans defense is pretty special. So I will take the Texans in this game to beat the Steelers. And I think it could be. I don't really give score predictions, but I could see this one being fairly close. But yeah, I'll take the Texans there. And then Bears and Packers. Bears, another team who had a big turnaround this year. Ben Johnson has worked his magic there, and Caleb Williams has thrived in Ben Johnson's offense, and I think that's a pretty good squad right there. Packers. They've had a lot of hype all year, but I've just not seen it. I just don't understand all the hype around the Packers. I just haven't thought they've been that good all year. And so, yeah, they might prove me wrong. I haven't really watched them do much. I've seen some highlights and stats here and there. Obviously, I watched the Panthers-Packers game, which we won. That was the first big win of our season, which I was pretty happy about. Well, no, we had some good games this year. I think the Cowboys was our first, I know the Cowboys had a down year, but that was our first, okay, we can get it done. And that's when it started to shift, and then I think we played the Packers after the Cowboys. I could be wrong about that, but anyway, yeah, I just haven't bought into the hype of the Packers, so I think the Bears will win this one. I think they'll be able to get it done in Green Bay. Well, no, in Chicago. They're in Chicago for it, and I think they'll get it done. 49ers and Eagles. Man, I've been going back and forth on this one. I think this one and the Bills and Jaguars have been the most that I've gone back and forth on who I think will win. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Eagles will get it done against the 49ers. The 49ers just have so many defensive pieces that are out due to injury. And I think the Eagles have so many offensive weapons that they'll be able to exploit the 49ers defense and move on to the divisional round. And now moving on to my Carolina Panthers, back in the playoffs, baby. I don't care how we got here. We're here. Going against the LA Rams. And actually, I do care how we got here. Do I wish we had a winning record going into and winning the NFC Championship, or NFC South Championship? I do. I very much wish, and we should have. We shot ourselves in the foot so many times this season. Both games against the Saints, we shot ourselves in the foot. We should have won those games. And there were a few other games that I feel like we could have done a lot better than we did. But I will do another video whenever the Panthers season comes to an end and just sort of do an overall review of the Carolina Panthers season. But we have them going up against the Rams, which we've played them once before this season, and that was up until now the best game we've played this year, and one of the biggest upsets, I think, of the season for any team. But it was a home game, and we played our best football in LA. At least Matthew Stafford played one of his worst games. Now we were without some main defensive weapons. We didn't have J.C. Horn in that game, and we didn't have Christian Roseboom, I believe. And they'll both be back for this game. But we were able to still get it done against them. So I do think the Panthers have what it takes to beat the LA Rams. I do believe that. I think when the Panthers are playing their best football, they can go up against any team in this league. I truly believe that. Do I think they're going to do it? No. I don't. They haven't proven this season that they can be consistent enough to compete with in this level. They just haven't done it consistently. There's been no consistency to the Panthers, and that's their biggest hurdle right now. Is just the mental game, or I don't know what it is. Just getting over that hurdle of being able to be consistent week in and week out. But they've had games. But I think the Rams' experience, them having Devontae Adams back, Puka Nacua, and they also have, I think one of their corners, they were also down a corner when they played us, and I believe he's back, and so I think them being healthier, I think it being the playoffs with their experience, I think the Rams will win this one and end the Panthers season. So there you have it. I have the Patriots moving on, the Bills moving on, the Texans moving on, the Bears, Eagles, and LA Rams, which would make it Bills versus Broncos, Patriots versus Texans, Bears versus Eagles, and Seahawks versus Rams. Now I debate going, like just doing the full playoff run, and maybe I could still do that just because I'm not going to get everyone right, and so I could still do a prediction for next week. Yeah. No, we'll just leave it here for now, and we'll come back next week and do a review of what I got right, what I got wrong, a review of the games, and then we will do more predictions. Now, I will tell you my two dark horses for the AFC and the NFC. My dark horses for these two conferences. My dark horse for the AFC is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do think they could continue this run and propel themselves to the Super Bowl. I think they could surprise a lot of people and keep that dream season going. And then for the NFC division or conference, my dark horse is the Bears. I think Ben Johnson has the experience in the playoffs to get it done, and I think if they're able to put it all together, I think they're getting Rome Odunze back for the playoffs. I don't think they had him the past couple seasons. And just with Ben Johnson's play calling ability and his offensive schemes, I think he can get it done. So those are my two dark horses to represent the NFC conference and the AFC conference. But there you have it, guys. So that'll be it for today. The games start tomorrow. I was scheduled to work tomorrow, and I still am, but I was able to get off early, so I'll be getting off at 3 tomorrow so I can come home and watch my Carolina Panthers take on the LA Rams. Pretty sure we got Cam coming back to beat the drum. I'm hoping the stadium's gonna be electric, and who knows, maybe we can pull off the upset and keep this rolling. I'd love that. I would love that. But yeah, I know a lot of people are saying, we don't deserve to be here and blah blah blah. But I like the way they have it set up, where each division has their like number one from that division moving on. I think that's a good way to do it. I hope they don't make any changes to that. And you never know. All you have to do is get in, and the whole any given Sunday, man. Any given Sunday. I think back in 2010, the Seahawks got in with a losing record and were able to move on. Even the Panthers back in, what year was it? Oh, I'm blanking. There was another year the Panthers got in with a losing record back when Cam Newton was our quarterback. It might have been 2011 or 2012, but the Panthers got in with a losing record, went on to beat, no, it wasn't. Maybe it was 2013. We made the Super Bowl in 2015. So it's either 2012 or 2013. Either way, the Panthers made it in with a losing record at one point, beat the Cardinals, and then went on to lose to the Seahawks. So teams with losing records can make something happen. So why not us? But anyway, there you have it. Let me know your predictions down below. Let me know who y'all's dark horses are, and who you're rooting for this year. And yeah, we'll see you guys later, and y'all have a good one.